Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, DiAndersons. I know it's Dams here today. I'll be doing another video for you guys today. The video that I'll be doing for you guys today is actually a story time, but it's also a video that is packed with tips, packed with information, and also packed with just how to adjust and to integrate. And the title of today's video is how to settle in Canada as a new student. As an international student in Canada, the pros, the cons, the tips, all the advice that I can give you to make your transition easier and also to get you prepared for your postgraduate work permit. So definitely stick around for the full video. There's a lot of information that you probably find useful. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the love and support. As you guys maybe know, I definitely got another child, which was a very good experience, and you guys have just been showing us with love. We've been seeing all those messages, all those comments, and we just cannot say thank you enough, and it's truly appreciated. Also, if you're here for the first time and you're all about the Canadian experience and you want to live the Canadian dream, definitely go ahead and subscribe to our channel. What we do here is to give you all things Canada, both tips, information, the know it of, the where it all, and also how to integrate, right? We are no immigration consultants on this channel. All the information that is shared is based on personal experiences of ourselves and also of friends and families and other persons who have become acquainted with as well. Definitely subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you guys so much. Thank you for being a part of the Andersons family. You guys are really appreciated. Consider joining our channel as well, guys. We have a join button right down below, available in some countries, that gives you guys unlimited access to premium content that is not usually available anywhere else. Now, with that said, guys, a little bit of background about myself. Many of you guys already know a lot of stuff that I'm about to say, but let's just get into it. So I came to Canada in 2019 as an international student. I did a diploma in business administration where I majored in marketing. This is something that I am very passionate about. I consider myself an entrepreneur, at least by mind, if not yet in action. I'm very passionate about owning my own business, learning how to mitigate the nuances of being an entrepreneur. So I decided to do that, and I did marketing because that's also something that I'm passionate about. I like creating stuff, I like advertising, I like sales, and I like just taking something from nothing and turning it into something. I've since graduated college successfully. I got a very good GPA, and since graduating, I've gotten my postgraduate work permit, and I've since made my application to become a permanent resident of Canada. Now, my wife was able to join me in 2019. My wife Nats. Big up everybody who know all of this already. It means that you guys are long-time subscribers. But for persons who are new, Nats came here on a spouse open work permit in 2019 with myself, as well as my daughter Malika. And since graduating and gotten my postgraduate work permit, we have since extended all work permits and visitors records and all of that. And Nats and Malika is also in the process of becoming a permanent resident. So that's just a little bit of background about myself. I am also a full-time banker here in Canada at the moment. I work in a bank full-time. That's what I do for a living, as well as making wonderful content for you guys. Now, that's as much as background as it goes. Now, let's take you guys back. Adjusting to Canada as an international student. What are the tips that I can give you guys? So the tips is pretty much the same if you're here by yourself or if you're here with your family. What I want to say is this is something that worked for me, and a lot of persons it worked for as well. But there's no right or wrong way of doing things. Each individual is different, and each individual functions differently. Now, these are very good tips in my opinion, so these are tips that definitely is worth sharing. And one of the most important thing I can say to you guys is when you come to Canada as an international student, if you are here for 1 year and 2 years as a student, that 1 year or 2 year, nothing else matters than going to school, finishing strong, so that you are able to apply for your postgraduate work permit. A lot of persons come to Canada as an international student and they pretty much move a little bit too fast than what I would say they should. But again, I said everybody's different. And what I mean by move a little bit too fast, I mean that as a student, you live as basic as possible. You live as basic as possible because one, there are so many priorities that you have to focus on, and two, you want to make sure that you are not focusing on a multitude of different things. So, getting an apartment. So, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you are comfortable where you're living. And by comfortable where you're living, I mean like you find an apartment if you're here by yourself or with your family and you don't have any extended network that you can stay with, you get an apartment. Now, when you get that apartment, guys, you want to make sure that you don't overspend. By overspend, I mean as a student, you are gonna be there temporarily. You don't want to be spending too much money on furniture and clothes and stuff that is really and truly not essential at this moment in time. So within the first year or two, unless you are packing and you come with millions of dollars, but for the average student, including myself, who came and was just looking to develop ourselves and to move forward, we have to take it as basic as possible and focus on priorities. The priorities of living in Canada is you need a car. You're gonna need a car pretty soon. That's one of the must have. Having a car in Canada is not a luxury. Having a car in Canada is a necessity. It's a country that has 4 seasons and winter is very brutal. If you don't have a car in winter months, it's gonna be extremely uncomfortable and almost next to impossible to get to and from school, to and from work, and all the other places that you need to go, grocery shopping, leisure, whatever it is. So you're gonna definitely need to invest in a car as soon as possible as a needs of priority. No, you don't have to buy a new car unless you want to, unless you can afford to. You can buy a used car and definitely turn it into what you want to, as long as you're able to get from point A to point B effectively. The other thing that you want to do, guys, is to make sure that you have just what you need in your house. I call it a starter kit. A starter kit is you have a fridge and a stove, a washer and a dryer, which usually comes with your apartment anyway. You have a couch, a TV stand, a bed, probably a clothes iron and an ironing board. If you want a dining table, if you're inviting over friends, it's totally up to you, but that's it. And the reason why I say that's it is bills can be very expensive in Canada as well. So the more appliances you have in your house is the more utility bill you're gonna pay. Some apartment utilities covered, but where I'm living, most apartments only cover heat and water. So your light bill can be expensive if it is that you have a multitude of things, especially when you don't need them. And in addition to that, you are gonna find that it definitely makes moving harder. Yeah, you can sell the stuff then when you want to move, but you know must get a buyer to buy everything you need. And traveling in terms of moving can be a very expensive venture here in Canada. If you call the rental companies, it can cost you as much as $4,000 to move inter-province, within province. I'm not even talking about to a different province. So you have to make sure that your priorities are definitely met. If you're here with your family, definitely focus most of your energy into working and saving, because after you're done with school, you're gonna want to pretty much integrate more into society, and that is gonna cost more money. You probably need a different apartment, a different house. You probably have to travel more. You probably have to live in a different province. So you want to definitely make sure that you have enough money saved as possible. So if your spouse is able to work full time, the emphasis should not be on leisure, which leisure is important, but the emphasis should be more on saving and making sure that you have enough money saved as possible, because you're gonna need it for future immigration goals. Especially if it is that you're thinking of doing express entry to become a permanent resident, you're gonna definitely need to have some form of savings, some form of money to show that this is what you have saved. So if it is that you are earning but you're not saving it, you're just spending it as if like you're permanent, then that might definitely be an issue in the future. As a student, you are not necessarily looking on now, because no, or let me not say no one, but most persons who come to Canada as an international student doesn't want to study. They, including myself, we use it as a stepping stone in order to become a permanent resident and ultimately a citizen of Canada. So in order to do that, you have to look at the end goal. So you're not necessarily looking at now. Now is just how it is, right? But you're looking at what comes next, and you're always preparing for what comes next, because what comes next is more important than what is present. So for example, if you're in school and you're focusing on buying a lot of unnecessary stuff, you're not saving, and all of these stuff, it can definitely make your immigration journey more difficult, more tedious, and definitely a lot harder than it should be and that it can be. All right, so those are definitely some of the vital tips that I would say that can make your transition a little bit easier, which is to remain grounded. Always remain grounded, because as an international student, it's so difficult. It's so difficult to maintain your status as an international student, because there are so many rules, there are so many regulations and policy that governs you as an international student, that causes the possibility of you being kicked out of Canada at any moment in time. So it's a case where you have a foot in, but your foot is not really in, because if you are in school and you're not doing good and the school kick you out, or you for example work a little bit longer than you should, or you get in any form of trouble, anything at all, guys, it can cause you to go right back to your home country. So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you are trying to focus on more than you should, and then it ultimately affects you and costs you more in the future. Now, as I said, guys, these are tips that you don't have to follow. Everyone is different. I know a lot of persons who came here, and they, as soon as they came to Canada as international students, they went and they buy a lot of stuff and they spend a lot of money, and then it ultimately makes their journey so much more uncomfortable than it should. You have to be willing and flexible to adjust to a new society. Another issue is many persons who are coming from their good jobs in their home country, they have the interpretation to say that, okay, then when I go to Canada, I'm gonna get a job that is equal or better than what I'm doing right now. Guys, that is very possible. However, there's also a possibility that you might not get that job, and you might have to be able to start, you might have to be required, to start from the ground and build yourself up. A lot of persons are not willing to do that, and because of that, they go into depression, they go into anxiety, and they're just going to all different phases, right? But when you are prepared and you're willing and you know that this is an investment into your future, then you definitely focus on the now and not the then. Fine, you were in your good job back then. However, this is where you are now, and you have to put in the work and you have to build up yourself. You're in a new country, and getting a good job in this country is dependent on a lot of factors. You have to have Canadian work experience, you have to have Canadian qualifications, and you also have to be, what I say, you have to stand out. The competition is great, and it is not a case where you are hired just because you are qualified, because no, that's not the case. Being employed here is dependent on a lot of different metrics. You want to focus on the job that you're applying for. If you have your family here and you have intention of having your family remain with you in Canada after you have done with your completed your study, you want to make sure that you're looking on the class of job that you are gonna be getting after you graduate, which is a job that is in a specific NOC code criteria, and then definitely focus on that. Now, you might not be able to get that job while you just come, but don't be comfortable in whatever job you get immediately as you come. Always be looking for that job that gives you the better experience, and also a job that you can keep, that when you graduate you can matriculate into a full-time position, which would then allow you to be able to extend your family's spousal work permit, and also, if you have children, visitors record, because a lot of persons don't think about that, and because of that, their spouses has to go back to their own country because their permits are not extended because of the student is not employed into a NOC code. There are so many things that we have to focus on as international students that is not generally focused on. My experience is we were willing to start from the ground up. My wife not had to work a lot of jobs. We lived as basic as possible. We only bought what we need. We didn't buy what we want. We focused on our priorities. We definitely kept looking on the end goal, and we kept trying to learn more and figure out more and all of those lovely stuff. So guys, that's my little 2 cents in terms of what can make your adjustment into Canada a little bit better than ours have been. If you are here in Canada and you have experienced something different than what I've just said, definitely drop a comment and let me know what was your experience. I'm eager to know. We are always trying to learn more. We're always trying to learn different ways of doing things. We have an awesome community and a lot of persons are definitely here to learn. So share your experience. If you're in another country and you're thinking of moving to Canada, let me just say it's one of the most beautiful countries that you will ever be in. And the opportunities are endless. And this is one of the best decisions you can make. And I wish you guys all the best, all the success that we'll have to offer, and I definitely hope that your IRCC journey is a swift one, is a successful one, and is a happy one. Welcome to Canada for those who have just landed in Canada and is watching this video to learn tips on how to integrate into a new society. My advice to you is enjoy the journey, trust the process, and definitely learn as much as you can. Network as much as you can as well. It's not necessarily best to do everything on your own. Sometimes you definitely need that friend, that big brother, that big sister who can definitely make your transition easier. All right, guys, remember to love, stay positive, and also be safe. Until the next video, see you guys. Dems out.